Hi, it's me, Stephanie. So, I just wanted to give some more context in regards to my own personal Zionism um, and this conflict between the Israelis and the so-called Palestinians, these displaced Jordanians. I once dated a young Muslim man from Egypt named Ibrahim. I was living in Northeast Philly. This is like 2003, 2004. Ibrahim and I dated for like almost 2 years. I was living with roommates out of Bible college. Matt, Candace, Luke, Phil, Chris, and Mark. And one night I was walking home after taking the train back from serving jury duty, and like an idiot I wore high heels all day, so I forgot that the bus stopped running at a certain hour. So I got off the train and there's no bus. I had to walk quite some distance, and so my feet were sore and tired, and a car pulled up. A young Middle Eastern man with an accent, and really nice, really sweet. He offered me a ride. He obviously saw me limping down the street. So yeah, I got in his car. He drove me home, and he seemed to really like me. He was good looking. He was nice. He was sweet. He was handsome, and so we exchanged numbers. He asked me if I wanted to go on a date with him. We could watch a movie at his house. So I took him up on the offer. We eventually got together and we did that. I don't remember which movie we saw to begin with. I can't remember. I think it was Pulp Fiction, I think. Yeah. Anyways, it was one of my DVDs because he had a DVD player, but he didn't have any DVDs. Yeah, it was Pulp Fiction. That was the first movie we watched. I remember now. Anyways, so we did that like quite a few times. You know, visited his house after work at night. We'd watch a movie, and eventually one time it got a little intimate. I gave him a hand job, and we almost got busted by his brother who walked in. So it was a little nerve-wracking. It turned out his brother I thought was his real brother, and I thought he had another brother that was coming from Egypt to live with him soon. It turned out these were his brothers from the Muslim Brotherhood. So yeah, Ibrahim was a bit of a radicalized fundamentalist Muslim. You know, he wasn't just a moderate Muslim. This is a guy involved with the Muslim Brotherhood, and he and his two brothers, we had conversations. They realized I was a Jew, that I was a Zionist, and they're very pro-Palestine versus Israel. So our conversations got a little heated. I can be stubborn. if you guys don't know that already, I can be pretty stubborn. So I certainly wasn't shy about my opinion, and so it got a little heated. But to be honest, like the conflict, the frustration, the anger, it made things a little more intimate between me and Ibrahim. So we no longer made out in the living room. We would watch a movie, sometimes alone, sometimes with his one brother, and then eventually his two brothers, and then we'd retire back to his bedroom and make out, have intimate sexual relations there. And when we got a little frustrated and angry with each other, sometimes the sex would involve him, choking me and stuff like that. So yeah, the oral sex, the anal sex sometimes became more more exciting. Anyways, okay, so one of the times the movie ended up being a porno movie instead of a regular movie, and his two brothers came in and caught us watching porn, and I guess they were both really attracted to me too, so I ended up performing oral sex on all three of them, Ibrahim and his brothers, and that became another time with oral and anal sex, and another time with oral and anal sex, and eventually it got weird. Eventually it got to the point where he and his brothers, I guess they were getting ready to move back to Egypt, and they wanted to convince me to move back to Egypt with them. They kept saying, like, you know, that they wanted to introduce me to their other brothers in the Muslim Brotherhood. I think their exact words were, you know, our brothers would have fun with you too. And I was nervous and scared. I figured, you know, they want to make me their sex slave in Egypt. And sure, here in the United States, there's laws, but there I wouldn't have any rights. I would just be their sex slave. So I stopped answering Ibrahim's calls. I started to ignore him. I basically broke it off with him. And he came banging on my door one night, desperate. I think it was either Phil or Luke who answered the door and came up to my room. My room was right above the front door, so I could hear Ibrahim banging. And I came and kind of peeked through the door, and I was like, look, Ibrahim, it's done. We're two different. You're a Muslim, I'm a Jew, I'm a Zionist, you're pro-Palestine, like, this isn't gonna work out. You know, you're a member of the Muslim Brotherhood, I'm not gonna move to Egypt so I can become, you know, your sex slave for you and your brothers. And he kept kissing me through the door, and eventually he's like, let me inside. I was like, no, you gotta go. Like, this is done, we're done, we're no longer dating. And he pushed his way inside, not roughly, gently, and kind of pushed me again gently through the living room, through the kitchen, to the back room, which my roommate Matt had turned into a movie theater with theater seating and everything. It was pretty cool. My big large screen TV and, you know, and Phil's stereo system. It was nice, especially watching like The Matrix and whatnot with the surround sound. But anyways, this night wasn't so fun. Ibrahim raped me. When we got to the back room, he bent me over the couch and forced anal sex on me, forced me to my knees, forced me to perform oral sex on him, made a mess of my face. I was scared. I lived with roommates. I thought that one of my roommates was going to come and see me like that. And yeah, I was upset. I was crying. He laughed after having sex with me, laughed. And Matt eventually saw me, how upset I was. I confided in him, and the next time Ibrahim came knocking on the door, I think it was days later or weeks later, I don't really remember, again banging. I didn't answer. I didn't even know this happened till later, but I guess Matt answered the door, and Matt was pretty tough. He was kind of my hero at that time. Yeah, he scared him off. He's like, don't you ever come back here again. And it was like Luke or Phil or Chris, one of them that maybe even Mark, who told me about it later. Probably not Mark. probably Luke or Phil. Yeah, probably not even Chris. Anyways, yeah, that was the last. Actually, no, that wasn't the last I ever saw of Ibrahim. I saw him one other time when I had moved out from that place and got my own apartment. I saw him one other time. I was walking to a thrift store nearby, kind of in between my new apartment and the old house, and he drove by and saw me, and I got in the car, and yeah, he was desperate and crying and begging me to get back together with him, saying, it was just going to be him. He's not connected with his brothers from the Muslim Brotherhood anymore. And to be honest, I did kind of feel bad for him. I did love him. I was attracted to him, but I couldn't. I told him I couldn't. And I got out of the car. I went into the thrift store where there's too many people. He couldn't really follow me. And that was it. I never saw him again. Anyways, all that to say that, I tried to find common ground. I'm a Jewish mystic. I'm a Kabbalist, so I tried to relate to them with Islamic mysticism, Sufism. I didn't know the Quran very well at the time, not as much as I do now, although I still don't know the Quran very well. Certainly not as much as I know, the Bible, Torah, Talmud, but I'm learning some Arabic. I am more familiar with the Quran than I was at that time. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to give some more perspective. I'm not insensitive to the so-called Palestinian people, these displaced Jordanians. They live in poverty. They've been indoctrinated with lies, gang life. What else do they do? Young men who have nothing, they know nothing else. I do feel bad for them. If it's one thing I learned from dating Ibrahim, is, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We're all not perfect. And, he was a nice guy. I liked him. He got scary. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I didn't end up a sex slave for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. But I liked him. I dated him. I thought he was handsome. And we had some good times. He could be really sweet. So, I kind of get it. But, the situation with Hamas, these are terrorists. They attacked and kidnapped and killed innocent civilians. They were the aggressors. Israel's defending itself, and yeah, under Netanyahu's racist, extremist administration, I'm sure they're going to treat people with prejudice at times. But the Israeli people as a whole, they're the victims, and they're just trying to exist in the Middle East. They're just trying to exist. And yeah, not all of these so-called Palestinians are evil, horrible people. There's a lot of innocent people there too, but their government is Hamas. Their government is a terrorist organization. And it's just a difficult situation. It's a difficult situation. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Love you guys. Bye.